Indeed. Indeed.
Dwarf, welcome back.
We're closed. Oh, it's you.
The Drake, and it's, well, decent. And it didn't take as long as I feared.
You'd better be very proud when...
I feel good.
We'll see how long this lasts. Here's your armor. Now please leave.
I passed your test. Fate has a twisted sense of humor, it seems. I suppose you think I'm some sort of monster. More so since I survived your ritual. You keep striking at me, and I just refuse to die decently. You're a poor liar, you know. It's kind of you to say so all the same. We must settle things between us somehow or other, or neither of us will get any work done. So, what will it be? Is that punishment meant for me or for you? And just like that, we're allies. I can't imagine it's so simple. I don't know what concession you want from me, Warden. I expect my word will not satisfy you. Nothing I can say will prove that. Either I will be worthy of trust, or I won't. I think it's time we got to the point here. What do you want from me? I can't imagine that you spared my life in the Landsmeet by accident. You have some plan in mind. Fortunate for me, then, that I've always been a man to take chances. I'm hardly blind to the irony of this situation. All of this can rightly be called my fault. Whether or not you can do better remains to be seen. But if you can make this the end, Warden, I will follow you, I swear it. I suppose we'll see how long that lasts. We should speak no more of this at present. Time's wasting.
are better with every step you take.
The men are ready to follow you anywhere, thanks to your confident investment. You'll have the best equipped force since, well, ever.
What's on your mind? I will answer to the...
Well, aren't you sweet and attentive? I thought you'd never ask.
What do you want? I don't know. I always said I was this way because she left, but I think maybe she left because of how I am. I've tried 27 new kinds of ale and learned I'm just the right height to give a human girl a good time. That doesn't make me a good man. Enough What about? All right. Right here, old pal. What about? All right.
What is your wish, Kadan? As you wish.
I am listening. It doesn't have better things to do. I do not sleep, so yes, and I thank it for reminding me. Try to imagine, if it will, what it would be like to be surrounded by nothing but boring peasants, all oblivious to it. Oh, yes. It certainly was the height of intrigue to listen to the accounts of how young Dornan had scandalized the village by his purchase of an Orlesian hat. And the argument that those two muddy farmers had over the price of barley for a whole summer. Riveting. And then there were the birds. A whole village full of pigeons, and those foolish villagers would spread birdseed near me, drawing the birds because they thought having birds perch on me was quaint. Quaint! If there hadn't been... I don't...
Did you want something? I suppose that depends on how much of the kingdom was left by then. Once the border was secure, the army would have regrouped to push back the Darkspawn in the south.
We couldn't, especially after Ostagar. It wasn't an ideal plan, but it seemed necessary at the time.
In any case, there's no use discussing this. We have much work left to do.
Very well, then. Hate doesn't describe it.
I've seen painted, masked lords beat an old farmer to death with riding crops. To this day, I don't know why.
Is that hate? I saw good, sensible men fight armored chevaliers with nothing. No weapons, no armies, not even hope of success to see the occupation end. Is that hate? The past is always with us. It's in our bones and our blood, and we wear it on our skin. You can think otherwise, but you'll never get far without it. Should I?
In any case, there's no use discussing this. We have...
Very well, then. He was my friend. If he'd wanted to conquer the Fade, I would have led the charge. There are men who inspire such devotion that everyone around would lay down their lives for him. And there are men who would come and go from this world, and no one notes it. What makes them so? Your guess is as good as mine. Merrick was remarkable. That's all I can say of him. I was hunting, well, poaching, to be entirely honest, when a boy my own age came stumbling out of the woods. He was so dirty, you'd have thought he'd been dug up out of the ground. Of course not. I had no idea who he was. He gave me a made-up name, told me he was fleeing Orlesians. He was bloody, exhausted, and obviously being hunted. I offered to take him to my father's camp. Yes. I didn't find out who he was for a while, though. But I've rattled on for too long already. We should get moving. He nearly did. Merrick was never one to avoid his duty. And given his preference, he would have acknowledged his son no matter the circumstance. But he had more than his honor to think of. It would have ruined Rowan, after all. She'd be reduced to a concubine in the eyes of our neighbors, and put Kaelin's status as heir in question. So Merrick made the hard choice. Eamon offered to raise the boy, and that was that. Kings don't get the luxury of escaping politics. But we've been idle long enough. We should get moving. Very well, then. Anora always did have a flair for the dramatic. She could have been a bard. Anora's a politician at heart. There's one thing she knows. It's how to move people. Is that a serious question? Is there someone else you know of who could stand up to the Landsmeet? But enough about Anora. We ought to get... Very well, then. So far as anyone could tell, she was the undisputed monarch of the whole world. She'd fall, skin her knees, and command them to stop stinging. It may have worked, too. I suppose she was. It's the peculiar joy of parents to be terrorized by their children, however. If you're expecting some particular insight into my daughter's character, I'm afraid I'm probably not the best source. I'm hardly impartial. I think you already know the answer to that. But this is not really the time or place to discuss my daughter. Very well, then.
I heard rumors at Redcliffe. The Earl has kindly offered my son... I'm sure... If there's anything I can do... I heard from some travelers that something bad might have... A merchant friend of mine said he encountered someone fleeing the place. That's what I've heard on the road. It's good that Queen Anora has been chosen to remain on the throne. She will be a good ruler, even if Tyrn Loghain is not there to guide her hand. That's what I've heard on the road, anyhow. Take it. Some folks are angry that Tyrn Loghain was allowed to become a Grey Warden, considering what he's done. Some of the Benorn are still saying he should hang. I think most people are relieved, though. Loghain is a hero who's... That's what I've heard on the road. I've heard some strange word out of the Brazilian forest, and it's to help us, not attack us. Doesn't that beat all? When I heard that, I thought... That's what I've heard on the road, anyhow. There's a rumor going around that Tyrn... It can't be true. Why would Tyrn Loghain... That's what I've heard on the road, and...